Madam Chairwoman, we are live. You're muted.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Acquaviva, go ahead.
Madam Chair, tonight's meeting, we have two special meetings. The first meeting scheduled for 6:30 is for the Community Asset Preservation Corporation. Roll call. Commissioner Ahmed, absent. Commissioner Brooks. Commissioner Brooks. Here. Commissioner Ceballos. Commissioner Ceballos.
Commissioner Ceballos, you're muted. Present.
Commissioner Cleaves is absent. Commissioner Fisher is absent. Commissioner Santana.
Present.
Commissioner Issa is absent. Commissioner Udine is absent. Commissioner Figueroa.
Present.
Councilman Khalid.
Present.
Khalid.
Present.
Okay. And Chairperson Northwell.
Present. Thank you. I'm going to ask every.
1, 2, Madam Chair, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have a quorum. We have 8.
I'm sorry. The 6:30 meeting is scheduled for CPS 3842 Chianti. So it's actually the opposite. The other one is for 7. Madam Chair?
I hear you. I'm not there yet. I'm okay with it. I know.
Okay. Yeah, that's the way they were notified.
Right, yeah. Maggie's not feeling well tonight. We're filling in, so we're just gonna go with the flow. We're just gonna go with the flow. We're gonna do the best we can. And I'm aware of what comes on first and what comes on second. So,
Okay, thank you. I know that Mr. Acquaviva had it reversed. I apologize.
okay, no worries, no worries. Okay,
CPC, it is CPC Affiliates LLC. That's the first special meeting that's scheduled tonight.
Correct.
Chianti Street.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Okay, so at this time, I'm gonna ask everyone to please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. Commissioners, planning board staff, ladies and gentlemen, as chairwoman of the City of Paterson's Planning Board, I call this meeting of 5/10/21 to order. I hereby state that all the provisions of the State of New Jersey Public Meeting Law have been fully and completely met, that the notice of provisions required have been properly posted in the Planning Board office and with the City of Paterson clerk, that the public notice and advertisements have been published in the Herald News on 4/30/21 in accordance with the law, and that the copies of such notice and public advertisements are on file in the Planning Board office, as is also the agenda listing the applications to be taken up by the planning board at this meeting. The procedure tonight will be in accordance with the rules, regulations, and bylaws as heretofore determined by the planning board and its office in the municipal complex in the city of Paterson. We've already done the roll call, so I will not go over that again. I will read the The notice pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, addressing the effect of coronavirus measures on the next public meeting. Consistent with the coronavirus-related restrictions of Executive Order Number 107, given on Saturday, March 21st, 2020 by Governor Philip D. Murphy, the Planning Board of the City of Paterson will not conduct in-person participation of the public at all future meetings until further notice. However, the public participation will be available by means of communication equipment pursuant to NJSA 10:4-8, commencing on April 15, 2020. Though there may potentially be a practical need for a limited number of administrative, technical, or other city personnel to be present in or near the City Council chambers, third floor, City Hall, 155 Market Street, Paterson, New Jersey, in-person participation of the public is prohibited. Nevertheless, for reasons of compliance with the said Executive Order Number 107, public participation will be available by calling 973-321-1579, and the meeting ID is 711-680-001 on the date and time that the meeting is scheduled to commence. The public may also participate in the meeting by accessing the website of the City of Paterson, www.patersonnj.gov, and following the email link for the meeting, www.patersonnj.gov/planning board. Okay, so this evening, we have two applications on, as was previously mentioned. The first one, to begin at 6:30, is the CPC Affiliates LLC, 15 Fells Manor Road in Caldwell, New Jersey, 07006. The property is located at 38-40 and 42 Chianti Street, block 4607, lots 11 and 12. Mr. Mariconda, are you representing them this evening?
Yes, good evening, Madam Chair. Alan Maricondo, 726 Market Street, Paterson, on behalf of the applicant.
Okay, thank you. And I'm gonna ask everybody while someone else is talking to just please mute your mics. Okay, on the vacant lot, the applicant proposes to construct a 4-story mixed-use building. The first floor proposes 3 commercial units, 1 studio unit, 2 one-bedroom units, and 1 two-bedroom unit, and exterior open space. The proposed second floor indicates 1 studio unit, 4 one-bedroom units, and 2 two-bedroom units. The proposed third and fourth floors indicate 3 one-bedroom units and 3 two-bedroom units on each floor. A total of 23 residential units are proposed. The lot has an area of 6,701 square feet. This proposal is within the MD, which is Medium Density Mixed Use District of the Great Falls Redevelopment Plan, and all amendments to thereof. The lot is located within the Great Falls Historic District. The parcel is located on the northwest corner of Chianti Street and Passaic Street. The applicant requests interpretation of variances for rear yard setback, as the building is proposed along 2 street frontages. A rear yard setback of 20 feet is required, and a portion of the building is proposed on the interpreted rear property line. A parking variance is requested as 25 off-street parking spaces are requested and 0 off-street parking spaces are provided. It requires site plan approval and bulk variances. Great Falls Redevelopment Plan, amendments here. Okay, so at this time I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Mariconda. Oh, I'm sorry, no, I'm not. I'm turning it over to Mr. Deutsch. Mr. Deutsch, please, may we have your review?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Property taxes are current. Eleanor J. Paterson, providing an address of 15 Fells Manor Road, Caldwell, New Jersey, holds 100% of the stock ownership interest in CPS Affiliates LLC. Bleecker Architectural Group has prepared a property survey of 38-42 Chianti Street, block 4607, that's 11 and 12, dated January 15, 2021. The parcel has frontage of 76.83 feet along Passaic Street, additional frontage of 87.33 feet on Chianti Street, and side and rear lot lines of 76.83 feet and 87.33 feet. The property in question has total area of 6,710 square feet or 0.15 acres. The survey also indicates that the parcel is located on the northwest corner of Chauncey Street and Passaic Street, and that the lot has the remains of stone foundation walls and a gravel area. The previous three-story mixed-use structure on the site was destroyed by a fire in 2020. The purpose of the medium-density mixed-use district is to provide a variety of opportunities for smaller-scale retail sales and services, office space, and residential living in a pedestrian-oriented community. The medium-density mixed-use district is designed to permit low to mid-rise structures with ground floor uses catered towards the everyday needs of the community's residents. This district maintains the smaller scale standards that are seen in this established neighborhood and encourages the development of community and arts-based uses. Legal Architectural Group has prepared an 11-page plan dated December 11, 2020. The first page is the cover sheet and includes the building and parking information, a drawing list, zoning and parking analysis, and the tax map. Sheet SP1 is the 200-foot radius map. Sheet SP2 is the proposed site plan. The site plan indicates that the building covers 82.57% of the lot. The only areas the building does not cover are the recessed access door entrances and the northwest corner of the lot, where the 1,148 square foot ground floor open to the sky open space area is proposed. The applicant requests an open space variance as 4,950 square feet of open space is required and 1,148 square feet is proposed. Sheet SP3 is the drainage plan with the stormwater calculations included. Sheet SP4 is the soil erosion plan. A permit from the Hudson Essex Passaic Soil Conservation Service is required prior to final approval. Sheet SP5 is the site details. Sheet A1 are the proposed building elevations. The south elevation indicates the building as it appears from Passaic Street. The east elevation indicates the building as it appears from Chauncey Street. The two building frontages have very similar elevations. The first floor indicates a full stone veneer. The three commercial spaces have awnings over their commercial glass front windows and decorative lighting. The second, third, and fourth floors have single windows in each floor with what appears to be space for an air conditioning unit below the window. The type of upper floor building material is not indicated. The building has a top height of approximately 52 feet. The proposed west elevation and the proposed north elevation indicate on the first floor a continuation of the full stone veneer. These first floor units are proposed residential units. Sheet A2 is a proposed first floor architectural plan. The three commercial spaces have square footage of 608, 645, and 698 square feet and all have direct access to Chauncey Street. Both Passaic Street and Chauncey Street provide access to the first floor lobby, which includes an elevator, a refuge room, storage, mailboxes, two stairways to the upper floors, and the open space area. Additionally, the first floor proposes 4 residential units, a 304 square foot studio unit, a 603 square foot, and a 614 square foot one-bedroom units, and a 911 square foot two-bedroom unit. Each of the units includes a full bathroom and a kitchen. The 1,148 square foot open space area is accessible from a lobby door near the mailbox area only. The space indicates a seating area, 3 trees, and 2 area shrub plantings. Sheet A3 is the proposed second floor architectural plan. In addition to a laundry room, a storage room, and a mechanical room, 7 residential units are proposed. A 304 square foot studio unit, 3 603 square foot one-bedroom units, a 653 square foot one-bedroom unit, and 2 919 square foot two-bedroom units. Each of the units includes a full bathroom and a kitchen. Sheet A4 is the proposed third floor and fourth floor architectural plans. In addition to the laundry room, storage room, and mechanical room indicated on each floor, also proposed are 3 603 square foot one-bedroom units and 3 919 square foot two-bedroom units on each floor. Each of the units includes a full bathroom and a kitchen. The total building unit count is 23 units, including 2 studio units, 12 one-bedroom units, and 9 two-bedroom units. Sheet 8.5 is the proposed basement plan and indicates storage space, the elevator mechanical room, and meter rooms for phone and cable, water, gas, and electrical. 25 space parking variance is based on each of the residential units requiring 1 parking space and 2 spaces for the commercial spaces. The Paterson Parking Authority is able to provide off-street parking in both surface lots and parking decks to apartment renters and owners residing within the Great Falls Historic District. Public transportation is available within this area, and the nearness of business and retail services promotes walkability and reduces the need for each resident to maintain a vehicle. As per prior conditional approvals, the applicant will agree to determine with the building occupants what an adequate number of parking authority spaces are needed and arrange an agreement with the parking authority. The cost of same to be negotiated with those needing full-time parking provided by the authority and the building owner. 1,148 square feet of open space is proposed. Studio units require 150 square feet of recreation space. One-bedroom units require 200 square feet, and two-bedroom units require 250 square feet. The 23 proposed units require a total of 4,950 square feet of recreation space. A variance is requested. There are parks and playgrounds located in the area, and the Great Falls National Historic Park is within walking distance. The applicant proposed a corner building with entrances from both street frontages. The zoning ordinance does not require a front or side yard setback, but does require a 20-foot rear yard setback. As the applicant is not providing same, a variance is requested. Prior to occupancy of the building, the applicant shall obtain a certificate of occupancy from the Paterson Division of Planning and Zoning. Commercial uses proposed on the first floor shall conform to permitted uses described in the Paterson zoning and land development ordinance. Uses permitted by condition shall apply to the appropriate land development board prior to occupancy. The applicant will construct the building using the applicable design standards, including the sections on signage and sustainability contained within the Great Falls redevelopment plan. It shall be the responsibility of the applicant and/or the preparer of the plan to obtain a letter from the city engineer indicating the plan has been satisfactorily reviewed prior to the plans being released to the construction official. In a 3-page memorandum from the Paterson Historic Preservation Commission, dated April 27, 2021, the HPC recommends that the planning board conditionally approve the proposed redevelopment of the subject property and subject to recommendations 1, 2, 3, and 4. The memorandum is submitted as an addendum to the planning board site plan review. The applicant shall discuss the placement of security cameras and lighting placement at the public hearing. Surrounding land uses. This proposal is in the Great Falls Historic District and the Dublin section of the city. The area is close to the Great Falls National Park and the downtown, and is continuing to transition from its past of mainly industrial uses to schools, commercial, and residential uses. Remaining unoccupied industrial buildings are zoned for mixed commercial and residential uses. The former Colt Gun Mill and ATP site are located close by. The National Park Service envisions a passive recreation park in this area. In conclusion, the applicant estimates the total cost of this proposal at approximately $2 million. The applicant could consider including a restroom either in the basement or near the lobby for residential and guest use. As your staff review for this proposal, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you. Mr. Mariconda, I couldn't see you at first. Okay, Mr. Mariconda?
Yes, we are here. First of all, thank you for hearing us on a special meeting basis again. We will be calling Mr. Bleeker and the applicant, Mr. Thierry. So 2 witnesses, Madam Chair. Mr.
Okay,
Bleeker-
please,
Good.
yeah, be first. Please ask Mr. Bleeker to be first. Thank you.
Sure. Mr. Bleeker can be sworn.
Please raise your right hand. You swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
State your full name for the record.
John Bleeker, it's Bleeker.
For the record, Madam Chair, would we accept Mr. Bleeker's credentials or?
Yes. I do accept him. Yes, we accept him as an expert witness. Thank you. Please proceed.
Okay, Mr. Bleeker obviously prepared the site plan in connection with this application, is that right?
Yes, I have.
And you'll be testifying as an architect and planner.
That's correct.
Okay. Obviously, Mr. Deutsch's report has been read into the record. I believe the commissioners are very familiar with this site. I think everyone's aware it had a very serious fire back in August of 2020, I believe it was.
That's correct.
So you can proceed to describe what we have now and how we're looking to rebuild and recreate this site.
I'd be glad to. Madam Chair, members of the board, I actually have listened to Mr. Deutsch's report. I got a chance to read his report as well. I concur with all the details as outlined in it. And I'm not going to reiterate every part of it, but I just want to have a few of the features and a few of the aspects with regards to this case that I believe is very, very important.
Excuse me. I'm gonna have to sign out and sign back in. I'm sorry. So just hold it for 2 minutes. There you go. I'm sorry. Please continue.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Basically, the building that was there before, I mean, the only reason why we're really here in front of you, the board tonight, is because there was a fire. It's a very significant fire that was caused by a disagreement of tenants. And one tenant set the building on fire, unfortunately, and the building burned down, and it was August 3rd, 2020. But prior to that, the structure was built just around 1915. And my client's family has owned the building since 1945. Originally it was owned by Eleanor Vettery's father since 1945. When he became ill, somewhere around 1994, Eleanor then took over the ownership of the actual management of the property, and she managed it for her dad. And then, unfortunately, her dad had passed away about a year later. And then her mother, at that point, was a little overwhelmed with the property and looked to sell it. And Eleanor actually bought it from the family and kept it in the family, and has owned it since 1999. So she's been the owner for quite some time. She's very familiar with the property. The building, the old building was pretty much developed exactly the same as what we're proposing. It was retail on the first floor, it was residential above, but it was a combination of multiple buildings. Now, obviously, we're gonna have one nice new structure, which is gonna be all up to date to current codes and standards. It's gonna encompass the perimeter of the site, and we are creating outdoor space, which the old building didn't have in the back, as recreation space for the tenants. So the proposal before you tonight is reconstruct that building. And as Mr. Dork has pointed out, the building is in the Great Falls Historic District. It's in the medium-density mixed-use district of the Great Falls redevelopment plan. Our plan does comply, and the project does comply with all this that we're going to be seeking tonight, which is I think it's a side with a rear setback. The rear setback. But unfortunately, as you can see on the site plan, and I'm looking specifically at the drawing that's on the screen, you can see that the building is on the corner of Passaic and Shianchi Street. It's on that northwest corner, and it encompasses the whole corner all the way through. And we are seeking a parking variance as well. As the board is very familiar, there was no parking before. Unfortunately, we have no parking with this proposal provided, but there is municipal parking right across the street as it was before. The project is going to be presented the same as it was before in terms of variance. But again, we have 2 side yards and we have 2 front yards, so the rear setback doesn't really come into play. And this is consistent with the profile of the old building as well.
Okay, and with respect to our units, Sean, they all comply with square footage requirements of the various types?
Yes, yes, they do. I know that, there was a mention that we do have residential units on the first floor, what I'd like the board to realize is, since Ms. Vedri has been operating and the family has owned this property for quite some time, over the years, the retail uses on Chianti Street, are still available, but they basically, the demand has been lessened. The units that are in demand are units that are a little bit smaller in square footage. The ones on Passaic Street, the retail units, we are proposing 3 retail units that would be on Chianti Street. And we are proposing, the units that will be facing, Passaic Street to be, the 2 residential units. One is a 2-bedroom and one is a studio. But if you look at the facades, we're going to carry the same facade all the way through on both sides. And we did purposely have the commercial unit, which is at the farthest northwest location of the plan, to be fronting on both Chianti and Passaic. So there is retail coming around the corner, but then once we get past the corner, we would like to propose the residential units there because, again, we don't find the value for the neighborhood, for the town, or for us to have vacant retail units if we we don't see the demand for them.
And those particular retail units, Sean, will of course have to comply with the STAR district limitation as well as the zoning district limitation.
That is correct.
So there would be no liquor stores or anything of that nature.
That is correct.
And the goal.
And the units are, not overly large. They're small neighborhood business kind of operations. Nothing of any sizable, retail can go in there. We do believe it's just going to cater to the neighborhood area.
And of course, we're in direct proximity, as you said, to the Paterson Parking Authority lots as well.
It's right across the street. Yes.
And the board has in the past, and the applicant's already aware of the fact that they will have to reach out between the tenants themselves and the parking authority to come to an amicable arrangement if spaces are needed, right?
That's absolutely correct. But I mean, again, my client has been operating this building for a long time in this location. And most of the tenants use the mass transit, which is readily available right in this area, within walking distance, and obviously they walk the shop, and everything is very, very close proximity to the right in the downtown district.
Right, and in addition to the open space we provide on site, we're walking distance to the National Park as well,
That's correct.
and the Lou Costello Park.
That's correct. And one of the best aspects of this application, which is the back corner, that will be accessed, through security, going into the building, and then once you're in the building, then you could actually access that space. There's going to be no way to get into that back space, however, if you were, from the outside or on the sidewalks. There's no public access right now. It would only be private access for the tenants themselves.
Okay, I think that's all we have. Mr. Bleeker, subject to any questions, Madam Chair?
Yeah, you have another witness, you said.
Just be calling the applicant, yes.
Please call him next.
Eleanor is available.
I am.
Okay, you're going to be sworn in.
Okay.
Hold on. Can you turn on your camera? I don't see you.
Can I turn on my what?
Camera.
Camera.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I did. How's that? Better?
Now I can see you.
Better?
Yes,
Please raise,
yes.
Please raise your right hand.
Yes.
Say your
Okay.
full name for the record.
I'm sorry. I'm having an awful time hearing you.
State your full name for the record.
Eleanor Viteri.
You need to keep your camera on there.
Eleanor, do you have your camera on?
I do have my camera on. Can you not?
Okay, now I see you. All right, now I see you. Okay,
My
go
problem
ahead.
is that I can't raise my volume. It's
Yep.
not working and I
Right,
can't.
we can hear you now. We can hear you now. Just leave your camera on. Okay, Mr. Maracona, go ahead.
Sure, Mr. Terry's not too experienced with this type of setup, so we appreciate your understanding and patience. Eleanor, you are the principal of CPC Affiliates, is that right, LLC?
Yeah, CPS affiliate.
CPS, excuse me, that was a typographical in front of me. And as such, as Mr. Bleeker testified to, this has been a family-owned property for many years, is that right?
Yes,
And do you agree with Mr. Bleeker's testimony tonight in all respects?
I do.
And you heard Mr. Deutsch's report as well?
I did.
Okay, and we've gone through the process with the Historic Commission, and you understand that we have an approval with the Historic Commission as well?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else you wish to add at this point?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, again,
Yeah, I'm gonna open this up to, for questions. I myself have a few, so I'll do that after I open it up to the public. I'm gonna open this up to the public. Let me just get my notes. Okay, so if anyone in the public has any questions, okay, of the owner of the property or Mr. Bleeker, okay, please call in, and these for questions only. Please call in at 973-321-1579. And the meeting ID is 711-680-001. These are questions only. Thank you. I'll allow 2 minutes for call-ins, 3 minutes for your questions. Thank you. While we're waiting for the call-ins, should there be any, I just have, just real quick, on the surface, I have a couple of questions. Is there an area in this building that you provided, for package delivery, Mr. Bleeker?
Madam Chair, what we have is, if you look at the first floor plan, which is on the screen right now,
Right.
right inside the elevator, we're actually going to be. However, because everybody's ordering from Amazon and everywhere else today, we actually locate cameras in that area. So when a package is delivered for a tenant, we know that, it's gonna be able to be traced, that if, that tenant picks it up, then that's fine, but if God forbid that tenant, somebody else picks up the package that's not a tenant, then we would be able to find out who it is.
Okay, all right, great. So you're gonna have cameras. So let me ask you, that brings me to another question. Are there gonna be cameras outside of this property as well?
Yeah, we're gonna have cameras shooting up the sidewalks along, at every entrance as well. And cameras interior, all the common spaces, which is the stairways, as well as the access to the elevator, and there will be cameras located to the outdoor recreation.
Okay, and there was something here about,
Ms. Davis, press star 6 to unmute yourself. There's only one caller. She needs to press star 6 to unmute herself. Ms. Davis, can you hear me?
Ms. Davis, if you can hear us, please hit star 6 to unmute yourself so we can hear your question. Okay.
We're gonna reach out to her. IT is gonna reach out.
Commissioners, okay, questions either for Mr. Bleeker or the owner of the property? Commissioners? Okay,
Madam Chair,
yes, Commissioner Ceballos?
yes, good evening, everyone. And the parking, the line, the parking is, at least already have been obtained from the parking authority. It's going to be on the 1-to-1 basis.
One-to-one basis is the short answer, Commissioner Savalas. However, we've been working very well with Mr. Perez in terms of these projects, not only in the historic district, but around the downtown area. And we have found that as the need develops, the applicant, the parking authority, and the tenants can work in concert with each other to develop a plan for that, how it's gonna be worked out financially and space-wise. And it's been working quite well, and Mr. Deutsch has signed off that concept on several other occasions over the last several months. So we look forward to continuing that process of working.
From the historic commissions, all have been addressed.
Yes, sir.
Right, thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Deutsch, have we found Ms. Davies?
Miss Davis, are you there? Tamara Davis? Press *6 on your phone. Hello? She's not, IT advises me she is not responding.
All right, we tried. I mean, I don't know what to do. There's not much more we can do. We're, trying to hold on to, hoping she'll get through. You can hear me, please hit *6 to unmute yourself so we can hear your question.
Or call back in.
How about if I give it 2 minutes? Hang up, if you can hear me, hang up and call back in. Okay, let's try that. We'll give it 2
Madam
minutes,
Chair, I
please.
just saw her log, I just saw a notification that she left the meeting. Maybe she's coming back in, but I just.
Yeah, let's give it 2 minutes to see if she calls back in. We'll give it 2 minutes. Mr. Deutsch,
Yes.
has she called back in?
She's calling back in now. Her phone, she was having problems with her phone. Let's give her 1 more minute, please.
Okay, will do.
Hello, caller?
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Tamara Natty Davis.
Yes, Miss
Yes,
Davis.
hi.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that a while ago. My name is Tamara Natty Davis, and I'm the property owner, 591-593 East 38th Street.
East 38th Street, okay. Is that near this property?
No.
Yes, it is.
Mr. Deutsch,
Now, East 38th Street is not near this property.
Okay, that means I'm in the wrong meeting because I got the notice of public hearing today at 6:30 for Sandra Express Shipping LLC.
Okay, that is for 1 week from today.
Oh, the notice said today. I'm sorry about that. The notice said today.
No, it should have said May 17th.
sorry.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
no worries, okay. All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Maricondo, you're gonna have to check on that in your notice.
I will check, of course.
Okay.
All right.
Questions from the public at this time. I'm going to send it back to Mr. Maricondo.
There are no more callers, Chairwoman.
Thank you. Mr. Maricondo?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, we'll essentially conclude with asking the board to consider the long history of this site, that this applicant is making a very strong good faith effort to not only restore, but to upgrade this site, provide quality services to the surrounding neighborhood, but also really what we call state-of-the-art residential units that are ideally suited for the historic district in terms of its proximity to the historic district, the Great Falls Park, the downtown shopping district, and it's a substantial upgrade which will probably spur other development in the surrounding.
There be a motion for approval, Mr. Aquaviva, do the four recommendations from the historic,
Yes.
Mr. Franco?
Yes, Madam Chair, before I go into details about conditions, unless I missed it, I didn't hear anything about a recommendation from Mr. Deutsch in his report, basically asking that the applicant consider including the restroom either in the basement or the lobby for residential and guest use. Unless I missed it, I didn't hear any questioning on that. Are we just gonna leave that where it is?
No, I would like to see that. Is it possible to put the bathroom in the area where where residents can use it in the downstairs area?
Yeah. Go ahead, John, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Madam Chair and Mr. Aquaviva, rather the stay as it is, because, Mrs. Bedry has obviously, maintained this building for some time. There's always been a problem with people gathering in spaces they shouldn't. We're trying to avoid that. So we really don't want to have a general bathroom. And the building is not, that large where if people had to go to the bathroom, they can go right into their apartments. And to use it, we want to keep it that way because, we want to keep the security a little bit tighter. And we don't want somebody, a public kind of bathroom, especially in the near common areas. That could, who knows?
Okay, all right,
So,
Okay.
that's.
got it, understood, all right.
Alright, so aside from that, obviously that's not an issue at this point. The conditions that I have are, which were in a memorandum dated April 27, 2021. I did not see that memorandum, so I cannot make specific reference as to what recommendations 1, 2, 3, and 4 are.
I have it.
If there's an approval tonight, I will just make a condition that obviously this condition to all recommendations from the Paterson Historic Preservation Commission.
Yes, I have it. I have it. In fact, I'm gonna just quickly read it, into the record, but, the recommendation 1 is the commission recommends that the planning board conditionally approves the proposed redevelopment of the subject property. Recommendation 2, the commission recommends that the cadence of the, fenestration on the Chianti Street and Passaic Street facades be consistent, to ensure conformity with the adjacent historic structures, which I believe they're doing that now when they're putting up that wood-looking facade. The commission recommends that the HVAC system terminal air conditioner unit shall not be approved.
Okay.
All right, wait, no, there's a 4th one. The commission recommends that the planning board remind the applicant that formal design review by the commission is required per 300-13 of the city and municipal code zoning and land development ordinance. The commission's design review shall be memorialized in a certificate of appropriateness, which the applicant must receive before issuance of requisite zoning and construction permits. Those are the 4 conditions, but I believe that we just say that we recommend, that there be a condition that we follow the memorandum of the Historic Preservation Commission. That should suffice, correct?
Okay, that's fine. 2 other items that actually go hand in hand with the Historic Preservation Commission recommendations or oversight of this building. Mr. Bleeker testified that the exterior would be composed of some sort of combination of clapboard, vinyl, and masonry products. Again, subject to the recommendations of the Historic Preservation Commission. That there would also be Commission, and last, that the Paterson Parking Authority will provide 25 parking spaces in surrounding lots. They haven't been designated yet, but they would be provided in the Paterson Parking Authority lots that are under their control and ownership within the vicinity of the property. So those are the 1, 2, 3, 4 conditions, and that includes the Historic Preservation Commission recommendations that you put on the record, Madam Chair.
Mr. Aquaviva, if I could, I believe the determination was that the parking spaces would be provided on an as-needed basis with the owner, tenants, and parking authority working in concert on an as-needed basis.
Okay, Mr. Deutsch, is that your understanding? Is that your understanding of it? Because based on your report, there is a parking variance for 25 spaces, which if approved, that variance would be approved tonight. So as long as that, Mr. Maripana's statements are in conjunction with your recommendations, then, I'm fine with it.
I agree with.
Would any commissioner like to make a motion on this application?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Ceballos?
on the application of CPC Affiliate LLC, 15 Phelps Manor Road, Cadwell, New Jersey, 07006. Property located at 38-40 and 42 Cianci Street, Block 4607, lots 11 and 12. I move that the board attorney prepare resolution granting site plan approval, all variances, city engineer, all 4 recommendations issued by the Paterson Historic Preservation Commission, HEP Hudson Essex Passaic Soil Conservation District, to be considered the board's every convenient.
Okay, that should do it on the motion, correct, Mr. Aquaviva? Okay, so, do I have a second? Okay, roll call, Mr. Aquaviva, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Brooks?
Yes.
Commissioner Ceballos?
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa?
Yes.
Councilman Khalid? Councilman Khalid?
Yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Santana, I'm sorry, Commissioner Santana?
Yes.
And Chairwoman Urquhart.
Yes.
The application is approved by 6-0 vote.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. And now I would make, can Mr. Bleeker take his, the plans down? And then I'm going to make a motion to close this second. And all in favor, aye. We all say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. We're good with that. And I'll give it a minute so Melinda can get it together there, and then we'll start our second reading.
Keep on.
And Melinda, whenever you're ready, just let me know. Was that a yes, or you told me to wait?
Minute, my
Okay.
computer froze.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Commissioners, planning board staff, ladies and gentlemen, as chairwoman of the City of Paterson's Planning Board, I call this meeting of 5/10/21 to order. I hereby state that all the provisions of the State of New Jersey public meeting law have been fully and completely met, that the notice of provisions required have been properly posted in the planning board office and with the City of Paterson clerk, that the public meeting and advertisements have been published in the Herald News on 4/30/21 in accordance with the law, and that the copies of such notice and public advertisements are on file in the planning board office, as is also the agenda list bylaws as heretofore determined by the planning board at its office in the municipal complex in the City of Paterson. Mr. Acquaviva, roll call please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Fisher is absent. Commissioner Ahmed is absent. Commissioner Brooks?
Here.
Commissioner Sebelius?
Present.
Commissioner Cleaves is absent. Commissioner Santana?
Present.
Commissioner Esau is absent, and Commissioner Udine is absent. Commissioner Figueroa?
Present.
Councilman Kalik?
I'm here.
And Chairwoman Northbrook?
Here.
Madam Chair, we have 6. We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Okay, notice pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act addressing effective coronavirus measures on the next public meeting. Consistent with the coronavirus-related restrictions of Executive Order Number 107, given on Saturday, March 21st, 2020 by Governor Philip D. Murphy, the Planning Board of the City of Paterson will not conduct in-person participation of the public at all future meetings until further notice. However, public participation will be available by means of communication equipment pursuant to the NJSA. May potentially be a practical need for a limited number of administrative, technical, or other city personnel to be present in or near the City Council Chambers, 3rd floor, City Hall, 155 Market Street, Paterson, New Jersey. In-person participation of the public is prohibited. Nevertheless, for reasons of compliance with the said Executive Order Number 107, public participation will be available by calling 973-321-1579, meeting ID 711-680-0001. I will repeat that later, on the date and time that the meeting is scheduled to commence. The public may also participate in the meeting by accessing the website of the City of Paterson, www.patersonnj.gov, and following the email link for the meeting, www.patersonnj.gov/planning board. So, the next application to be heard is Community Asset Preservation Corporation, 108 Church Street, New Brunswick, New Jersey, 11 Spruce Street, also known as 50 Spruce Street, Block 4802 and Lot 20. Mr. Maricondo, are you representing this applicant?
Yes,
The applicant proposes to undertake a complete interior and exterior restoration and adaptive reuse of a vacant commercial building that had a prior use for storage. The parcel formerly housed the Roger Mill Wright Building. The applicant now proposes 2 commercial retail units and 38 residential units within the existing 3.5-story building. The lot contains approximately 32,500 square feet. This proposal is located within the Great Falls Historic District. Existing non-conforming conditions will continue for front yard setback and both side yard setback, as 10 feet is required and 0 feet is existing. The maximum building height of 50 feet is permitted and 60 feet is existing. A new variance required for parking, as 41 off-street parking spaces are required and 20 off-street parking spaces are proposed. It requires site plan approval and bulk variances. Okay, I'm going to now turn it over to Mr. Deutsch. May we have your review, please?
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you. And I'm just going to ask for anyone who's not speaking at the moment, just mute yourselves, please. Thank you.
Property taxes are current. The Community Asset Preservation Corporation is a wholly 1,506 square feet. This proposal is within the adaptive reuse and infill district of the Great Falls redevelopment plan. The CTS Group and Lear Associates have prepared a combined 24-page plan submission titled Restoration and Adaptive Reuse of 11 Spruce Street. Drawing T100 is the title sheet and indicates the project description, parking standard. Drawing T101 indicates 4 historic images. Drawing T102 indicates existing condition photographs. Drawing ST101 is the 200-foot radius plan area map. Sheet ST-2 is the site plan. The southern property line is the building wall. The applicant has been previously advised that they must obtain an easement from the adjacent property to the south, lot 4802, lot 22, commonly referred to as the art factory or grading of the building is indicated. Sheet ST3 is the grading plan. The plan indicates that a stormwater detention system and related piping is to be placed as indicated on the plan. Sheet ST4 is the lighting and landscape plan. Trees, grass, and shrubs are to be placed mainly at the place, and whether they are pole lighting or attached to the building or a combination of both. Security control and camera system proposals shall also be placed into the public record. Sheet ST5 is the soil erosion and sediment control plan. A permit from the Hudson-Essex Passaic Soil Conservation District may be required based upon the amount of soil disturbance. Sheets ST6, ST7, ST8, and ST9 are detailed pages indicating construction items separate from the building, including signs, concrete sidewalk, drainage structure, or occupancy plan unit information. The ground floor plan indicates 2 commercial units with internal access only and not directly to Spruce Street, containing 1,367 square feet in Unit 1A and 1,279 square feet in Unit 1B. 8 residential units are proposed, including 3 one-bedroom units, 4 two-bedroom units, and 1 three-bedroom unit. The first floor has gross square footage of 17,240 square feet and 6 two-bedroom units. The second floor has gross square footage of 17,240 square feet. The third floor indicates 15 residential units, including 8 one-bedroom units and 7 two-bedroom units. The third floor has gross square footage of 17,240 square feet. The third floor loft plan has gross square footage of 6,116 square feet and is part of the third floor units. Drawing A101 is a detailed page of the ground floor square feet and contains stairs and a handicap ramp and door access into both of the commercial spaces. Both spaces include a restroom. There is an additional lobby location of 591 square feet that includes stair and handicap ramp access, a lounge, an elevator, a mailroom, a restroom, and 8 maintenance and utility rooms. Stairwell number 1 is located with an entrance on the north side of the building, and stairwell number 2 is located with the interior of the building. Each of the 8 residential units will include a full bathroom, a kitchen, and a living room. Each of the 15 residential units will include a full bathroom, a kitchen, and a living room, dining room area. Drawing A103 is a detailed page of the third floor plan. Each of the 15 residential units will include a full bathroom, a kitchen, and a living room, dining room area. Drawing A104 is a detailed version of the loft level plan. The loft level plan indicates 2 mechanical rooms and loft rooms accessible by an interior staircase leading from the third floor of each unit. The loft room is part of the third floor units and is only internally accessible from the third floor units. All of the loft and mechanical units will have a new skylight. Existing severely deteriorated slate an asphalt shingle roof system with a new approved roof system and install new skylights. For an A201 are the existing and proposed Spruce Street east front building elevations. For an A202 are the existing and proposed rear west building elevations. For an A203 are the existing and proposed north side building elevations, and drawing 204 are the existing and proposed south side building elevations. For an A301, the project is required by zoning ordinance to have a total of 8,450 square feet of open space for the residential units. Inside the building, there will be a 400 square foot lounge, and outside approximately 1,800 square feet of passive recreation space for a total of 2,200 square feet of amenity space, which requires a variance. Although the Great Falls National Park is in close proximity, the applicant should consider implementing other building amenities, including a bicycle room, a gym, a laundry room, and a community meeting room. A new variance is required for parking, as 41 off-street parking spaces are required and 20 off-street per unit, and the commercial space requires 1 parking space per 1,000 square feet of area. As per the Great Falls redevelopment plan adopted in July 2017, the applicant requests a parking variance for 21 parking spaces. The applicant has also provided a letter from the Paterson Parking Authority, which I will let them describe in detail. Prior to occupancy of the building, the applicant shall obtain a certificate of occupancy from the Paterson Division of Planning and Zoning. Commercial uses proposed on the first floor shall conform to permitted uses described in the Paterson Zoning and Land Development Ordinance, the Great Falls redevelopment. To the greatest extent possible, the applicant will construct the building using the applicable design standards, including the sections on signage and sustainability contained within the Great Falls redevelopment plan. The city engineer has previously reviewed the site plan and drainage report. The applicant has been provided with a memorandum dated March 4th, 2021, detailing the additional information required to any final approval. A final approval memorandum from the city engineer is required. And a 3-page memorandum from the Paterson Historic Preservation Commission dated February 9th, 2021. The HPC recommends that the planning board conditionally approve the proposed redevelopment review for this proposal, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you, Mr. George. I just have a quick question, because the last thing down here, it says, the memorandum was submitted as an addendum. I don't remember seeing that memorandum unless you're talking about the same one that we received for the previous property.
There should be 2. I should have sent 2 out.
I only, you may have, and maybe it's an oversight on my part, I thought I only saw 1. So can you tell me what the 2 recommendations were?
Yes, the 2 recommendations. Recommendation 1, the commission recommends that the planning board conditionally approve the rehabilitation and adaptive reuse of the Rogers Millwright Shop. Recommendation 2, the commission recommends that the planning board condition its approval upon completion of a phase 1 to ascertain the presence or absence of archaeological resources before commencement of site work pursuant to 300-13.6 of the Zoning and Land Development Ordinance. This archaeological report will confirm if further archaeological work is warranted during the construction phase, such as monitoring site work or other controls to mitigate impacts to historic or archaeological resources.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
For Mr. Deutsch and the zoning, we have a number 1, we have a maximum building height, 60 feet, and proposed 3.5, that would make it only 42 feet, huh?
The maximum, well, it's 3.5 stories and 60 feet.
Okay,
The building exists as 3.5 stories and 60 feet. They have very high ceilings.
yeah, around this side. All right, thank you, Mr. Dodd. Thank you, Marlon.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Mr. Maricondo.
Yes, good evening again, Commissioners. Thank you again for hearing us on a special meeting basis. And of course, you'll note that this is another application within the historic district. Another very strong one, we believe, with all due respect, with regard to an extremely historic location along Spruce Street, which I know the Commissioners are fully familiar with, in the old Rogers Building section. This is a site which has awaited this kind of opportunity, I think, for quite some time. Previous attempts to develop it exactly what the zoning ordinance requires, an adaptive reuse of this type of building for a mixed-use character. We will also confirm that we have dealt with the parking authority already. We provided Mr. Deutsch also with a letter from the parking authority on May 6th, which indicates Mr. Perez would work that same agreement, his letter of intent for 21 spaces as needed with this building, this building's usage, okay? So we have done our homework with the parking authority. We have successfully completed our work with the Historic Commission. The applicant's witnesses will confirm as we go along, and we certainly have no objection to the conditions that the Historic Commission has placed on its approval as Mr. Deutsch read them into the record. So with those kind of housekeeping issues covered up front, we will also, as we go along, talk about several points in Mr. Deutsch's report. We are actively working out through my applicant's general counsel, the easement agreements with NJCDC, which is a working partner with my client. So are important for access, and they will be certainly a condition of any approval granted tonight. That being said, we will call our architectural.
How many witnesses do you have?
We have 1, 2, 3 professional and 1 applicant.
Okay, and so you have an architect, and what do you have, a planner?
Engineer and planner, yes.
And the third one?
Engineer and planner.
Oh, engineer, planner, and architect. Okay,
Yes.
please call the architect first. Thank you.
Are you ready?
Who is the architect?
Hi, Brian Compertor, CTS Group Architects.
Hold on, I don't see you. Okay, please raise your right hand. You swear upon testimony you're about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your full name for the record.
Brian Compertor.
Brian, would you state your professional affiliation and your experience as a licensed architect?
Certainly. I'm with CTS Group Architects. I'm a licensed architect. I've been licensed since 2011. I've presented in front of this board before, in front of the Historic Commission numerous times, in front of Newark's Planning Board and Zoning Board and Historic Commission, as well as East Orange, Dover.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. We accept him as an expert witness. Please proceed.
Sure.
Certainly.
Okay, so Brian, obviously the focus of your testimony will be the design plan and obviously use this building.
Absolutely.
You can proceed then.
Yep, I'm just going to take the screen. Building, the last phase, the building historically known as development area, the AR. Recently, the building's been used for asset preservation court. with 2 spaces on restoration of the brick and brown window openings, mimicking filled historic openings. Wood windows with historic fenestration, Franco. Here we'll discuss placement, landscaping, the development building, and the rear of our site. 9. Here's the site's existing condition. You can see the middle raceway, which currently does not have water in it. The art factory, which shares our property line, and New Jersey Community Development Corp's building with the shared Stony Road and the open parking spaces in the rear. Here's the front original form and the north elevation. More of the same. You can see the 2 bridges, which used to connect New Jersey NJCDC's building to our building. These will remain open. They're just decorative at this point and will remain so. This is the rear of the building, viewed from the raceway, the towpath. And then this is the alleyway, and just looking the other way down that alleyway. The art factory being on your right here, and our building being on your left. And again, historic our new replica. Again, here's the existing site plan, and here's a rendering of our proposed site plan. You can see the parking spaces, the garbage dumpster enclosure, and the accessible ramp down into the tenant entry. And in the rear, you have our HVAC units, some public open space, and some plantings. So this is just the render drawing showing the parking, the garbage, and the public garden area. I just wanted to quickly run through the units breakdown. We have a mixture of 1, 2, and 1 3-bedroom unit. The 1-bedroom units average 850 square feet. The 2-bedroom units average 1,100 square feet, and the 3-bedroom unit is about 1,300 square feet, just a little bit over. And then in the yellow, you can see the 2 commercial. And then in the yellow, you can see the 2 commercial spaces on the first floor with their own separate entrance.
Is there any way you can make them a little bit larger? I was gonna say larger so we can see. I needed the Hubble telescope to see it, so. Okay.
Yeah. Any plan in particular? So here's the first floor, ground floor plan. You see the parking lot. And here is our accessible ramp down in and through and into our lobby and our lounge. Our entrances are in green and our exits are in red. This entrance here is dedicated solely for the 2 commercial spaces, and these 2 entrances are dedicated for the residential tenants. These are our new circulation components of the building. We have 3 new stairs and 1 new elevator that rise up through all 3 floors of the building. And then here are the 2 commercial spaces and the lounge area. And here is the second floor, again with the circulation components highlighted. And the third floor, the circulation highlighted. And the third floor is unique because the third floor has about 30 feet from the floor to the peak of the roof. So we're taking advantage of that upper space, that very high ceiling space with loft units. So if you have a unit on the third floor, you have a loft space as well. And then the roof plan, shows skylights, which were approved by the Historic Commission to allow light into those loft spaces. And again, the front elevation, windows and doors, but you can approve them. Entry, and over here, and this is just the drawing which Mr. Deutsch went over already, showing the existing elevation and the proposed elevation. This is the north elevation, just the proposed and existing drawings. This is looking the other way into the courtyard. Again, just existing and proposed. This is the south elevation on the lot line with the art factory. And as I've mentioned before, a lot of those openings with different colored brick are now being opened up to new windows for the to allow light and ventilation for the residential tenants. And I'd like to turn it over now to my civil engineer.
Yeah, before you do that, I just have a quick question. I'm sure you went over this and I might have missed it, but I just have a quick question. On each floor, is there space, like amenity space for the people on each floor, or you don't have that?
No, the only amenity space is on the first floor, the lobby, and on the exterior for the open green space along the raceway.
Okay.
But these units are overly large for one and two bedrooms, and even the 3-bedroom is large for a 3-bedroom unit.
Right. And were you able, maybe it's your engineer, but I'm gonna ask, do you have, are they allowing cameras on the building for security?
We will provide cameras, certainly in the lobbies, and we can discuss with the Historic Commission acceptable locations and sizes of cameras for the exterior of the building.
Okay. All right, you can turn it over to the engineer, thank you.
You want to start by swearing me?
Okay, please raise your right hand. You swear affirm testimony you're about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Say your full name.
Or Associates, 101 South Harrison Street, East Orange, New Jersey.
Mr. Edison, if you would for the record, state your professional background and licensing.
Okay. I'm with the firm of Frey Taylor Associates for 35 years. I'm a principal at the firm. I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey. I have a Bachelor of Science and Master's of Science in Civil Engineering. I have appeared before, I've appeared in Paterson. I'm not sure whether I've appeared before the Planning Board or the Board of Adjustment offhand.
Please proceed.
Thank you, sir. If you would, obviously you've had the benefit of hearing Mr. Deutsch's report, as well as our architectural testimony. Would you give us the benefit of your site plan testimony at this time?
Certainly. Is it all right if I share my screen?
Sure.
Let's try that one. Did that work?
Your zoning chart
I
appears
see
there.
it,
Did that
but I only see the zoning characteristics, I don't see anything else.
You only see the zoning characters. I'm going to stop that and try again and share the wrong screen. I was afraid of that. Stop sharing. Too many screens, I'm afraid. Come on. Exit full screen. Move back over there. You go over there. Because that's the one you want to share. And let's try again. I'm sorry about that.
There we go. Oops, yeah, that's it.
That's it? Very good.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, now if I can get people back so I can actually see people, because I hate talking to a blank screen. Okay. So what you're looking at is the survey. As Mr. Compatore just described, you have the existing building, a gravel parking lot, Stony Road running between them on the north side, and Spruce Street on the east. The raceway to the west side of the site. The proposed site improvements are actually relatively limited because there's a limited site area available. So what we're proposing to do is develop a 20-car parking lot from the gravel lot that you saw in Mr. Compatore's pictures, kind of a haphazard parking. And so we're going to develop a 20-car parking lot. We'll have a dumpster enclosure, some sidewalk. With this building having controlling interest in that the control of that easement overall. Again, raceway to the west. Flipping to the next page. The next page is stormwater management, primarily in grading. So we do have a proposed stormwater grading fixtures mounted at about 19 feet on the along the back of the parking lot, located along the street. We also have obviously some details, but I really don't know that we need to go through those unless there are specific questions that you'd like answered.
Should that conclude your testimony?
Unless there are questions, I think so. As I said, it's really just a parking lot at the rear of the site where the existing gravel lot is, not a major site development in that regard.
Okay, so we're available for any questions for both professionals, Madam Chair.
And your third is the third person is?
Mr. John McDonough, our planner.
Okay, you know what, I will, okay, you know what, I will, I'm gonna open it up, we'll take you in a moment, I'm gonna open it up to the public right now. If anyone in the public has any questions, okay, of either Mr. Compatore or Mr. Arsham, okay, then please call in at 973-321-1579, and the meeting ID is 711-680-001. These are the questions only of either of those two gentlemen. I'll allow 2 minutes for calling. I have a question about the open space. The open space, is there going to be, I look back there, I understand you're kind of pressed, there's not that much space, but is there any way that like, this might be for the owner or the looking benches?
Madam Chair, I see no problem with that, and either my applicant or the planner or the architect could discuss that.
Okay, all right, good enough. You know what, then call your next witness, please.
Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call, if I may, Madam Chair, call Mr. de Blasio next, because he can clarify a couple points. He's the applicant, and we'll have Mr.
Okay.
McDonough as the last witness, okay?
Okay, fine, yes, please, go ahead.
Appreciate it. Mr. Michael de Blasio?
Yes, hello, good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Please raise your right hand, sir. You swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Say your full name for the record.
Michael de Blasio.
Mike, would you tell us your position with community asset?
Sure, I am the Director of Multifamily and Commercial Development for Community Asset Preservation Corporation.
And as such, you're familiar, of course, with this site and other areas within northern Jersey that you've worked on? Okay, very well. And this particular site has been part of your focus and ownership for how long?
Oh, I would say for probably the 5 years now.
Okay, so this is a project that's a long time in coming in terms of development, fair to say?
That's correct.
Okay, so obviously you're in agreement with all the professional testimony that's been offered up to this point?
Absolutely, 100%, yes.
Okay, and I'll backtrack a little bit, then you can fill in as you go along. These retail or service businesses are designed as small businesses, I would assume?
That's correct.
And they're designed to serve the surrounding residential area with low intensity.
That's correct, especially with all the development going around the Great Falls Historic District. As everybody here knows, I think it would be a perfect place for a walk-in coffee bar or something.
The working relationship you have with NJCDC, this board has seen New Jersey Community Development Corp. Before it many times. Can you explain how you are working with them in terms of the side-by-side relationship with the two buildings?
Yes, we have a very good relationship with both neighbors, specifically with New Jersey Community Development Corporation. My company is actually developing another project with them on the other side of town, which is a new construction project. We have met with Mr. Garcia, the owner of the Art Factory, several times. In fact, we are using the proposed easement area now to do some stabilization work that we worked on with John Franco and the Historic Commission. They want to do everything possible to help make our job easier, so we have a very good relationship with both neighbors.
Great, yeah, essentially your piece is sort of the missing piece of the puzzle, if you will. Is that a fair way to describe it in the middle there?
That's correct, and really, always, Mr. Mariconda, this is really the last large mill building in the Great Falls Historic District that has not been developed. So we've been looking forward to, as I know Bob and Dave have as well, really getting this adaptive use project off the ground and really getting this building back to its former glory.
Right. And again, your proposal fits exactly with what the zoning ordinance describes. With respect to the nature of the residential units, okay. Now, again, the chair lady asked reference to security. Obviously, that's subject to the Historic Commission's consent and approval.
Yes, we have the same concerns you have, and security is of the utmost importance to us. So we would love to have, be able to see the entire Spruce Street corridor going up and down the street towards the falls and away from the falls, between the two buildings and behind on the raceway. Of course, working with the Historic Commission. This project's also going to be a federal historic tax credit project. So, that's
2021, which I did refer to provide to Mr. Deutsch as well. Other than those items, unless you have any other general comments you wish to make, I think we've covered your testimony. You could be available again after Mr. McDonough if you wish. So I think that would conclude our testimony at this time.
yes, thank you.
So, Mr. DeBose, I just have a quick question. Is that, would it be you that I asked then about the benches in the back?
Yes.
Yes, it would be me, and we would be perfectly willing to do that.
Yeah, there needs something out there.
Yeah.
There needs something out there for people to go out, get some air, sit outside, do something, a little something.
Absolutely. The raceway behind the buildings, NJCDC, our building, and the Art Factory. I mean, if I can envision down the road, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I can envision down the road a real walkway back there that would really have some outdoor amenities, really, to bring people there. As it leads to the falls, right? It would make a really great walking path around the falls.
Right, got it. Okay, all right. So at this time, would you like to add anything else to that?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you for the opportunity, and I'll be here if anybody has any questions.
Okay, so, Mr. Mariconda, then I'm just gonna, would you bring your next witness? I think it's Mr. McDonough.
That is correct.
Okay, let's have him sworn in, please.
You swear upon testimony about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Say your full name for the record.
Sure, hi everyone, my name is John McDonough, that's spelled MC capital VONOUGH.
John, if you would, give us the benefit of your background as a planner and your experience before this board and others.
Sure thing. My education comes from Rutgers. I am a licensed professional planner here in good standing, and I testify throughout the state, and I've been here in Paterson many times as well.
Thank you, we accept him as an expert witness.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. McDonough, obviously you've had the benefit as the cleanup hitter, so to speak, as hearing all the testimony and Mr. Deutsch's report. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Could you give us your considerations from a planning perspective about this site, obviously taking into account Mr. Deutsch's report, This other chart that was provided by the site plan engineer and the needs that we have with regard to utilizing this site on this particular fixed building, which we are adaptively reusing.
Sure thing. There's a lot of positives about this application from a planning standpoint. It goes right towards the heart of what the redevelopment plan wants to be, which is a historic preservation type of redevelopment here, or adaptive reuse of that which is already there. What I would like to underscore is what you've heard from the witnesses before me, that the applicant is giving great the relief that it's seeking by virtue of that letter of intent through the parking authority. The real variance here, the real relief that the applicant is seeking is for that A1 space shortage, which the applicant has procured through that letter of intent from the parking authority. So that will certainly go towards the planning goal for efficient land use. And again, in the interest of maintaining adaptive reuse, that also goes towards efficient land use. I would like to share with the board very briefly here, very quickly, what we saw when we went out there on the site today. Again, basically echoing what you saw through Brian, our architect's testimony, that we've got this historically significant, I'll say, L-shaped building with parking in the back that backs up to the park. So there's great connectivity there between the people who will live here and the park itself, and for the transition between the two. This is a view looking to the west. This is what you see when you look to the south, and Route 80 being just off the screen there. There's the L-shaped building in the center with parking in the back and the park to the right. This is what you see when you look to the east. Again, the L-shaped building with parking in the back that is going to be retrofit for those 20 some odd spaces. This is what you see when you look to the north. And then finally, with the top-down view, again, just sort of echoing what you saw through Rick's testimony, that this will be customized for 20 parking spaces in the back with the access off of the existing access that's presently there. That's what you see when it's on the ground. There's the access point and the connectivity that will be maintained. So the important thing is, at the heart of this application, substantial conformance with the campus. The project fully complies with all the higher tiers of zoning in the redevelopment plan. And the only real relief that the applicant is seeking here is with respect to the parking. 20 spaces provided, 41 required. That's justified under the flexible C balancing test, whereby the benefits of the application as a whole would substantially outweigh the detriments. On the positive side, this project is going to advance multiple purposes of the land use law, especially purpose J. Preservation of historic sites and districts is a core purpose under the municipal land use law and the redevelopment plan. Purpose M, the adaptive reuse of this site will promote efficient land use and prevent urban scale type commercial use on the ground floor. And then purpose I, the promotion of a desirable visual environment by keeping, preserving, and renovating that which is presently there. In terms of the negative criteria, no substantially adverse impacts with respect to the parking shortage, particularly in an area that is transforming with walkability and alternate modes of transportation. And the zoning intent is clearly met here by that legal mechanism with that letter of intent from the parking authority. Also, this is going to be a very positive application for the city, continuing the very positive transformation of this area, sort of completing the puzzle as you've heard. And the statutory criteria for grant of relief are easily met here, and from a planning standpoint, approval is warranted. With that, I'll stop share. Looking again at a requirement of 2,200 square feet versus 8,450 square feet. But reminding the board again, that's an existing condition on the property as well. We're working with what's there. And the fact that we're right up against the park, it's somewhat redundant to have open space on the site when the site has the advantage of open space right next to it with that enhanced connectivity. So I would justify that under the C1 hardship test as well. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. McDonough. He's available, of course, Madam Chair.
Okay, I'm gonna open this up to the public, but I'm looking and I see a few names here that I don't recognize and I don't know who they are. Mr. Deutsch, are you telling me we don't have any callers?
That is correct. We have no callers. I do also see
There's a Jasmine J and there's a Carl Florimond.
Jasmine Chase with my office, with CAPC, and Carl is with Rick's office, the engineer.
Oh, okay, all right, so I don't have any, all right, I'm just gonna throw it out to the public again, ask them one more time if they have any questions of the, two gentlemen that just gave their, expert testimony. All right, the phone number to call in, would be 973-321-1579. The meeting ID number is 711-680-001. I will allow 2 minutes for call-ins, 3 minutes for questions. And while we're waiting to see if there's anyone calling in, commissioners, do you have any questions of these gentlemen?
I have a question. My question
Yes,
is,
Commissioner Brooks, please.
my question is to Alan Americanda. On the subject of easements, I might have missed it, but have you, the easement, you have evidence that the easements have been applied for in this application?
We talked about the fact that the easements are a work in progress with both of the neighbors as per the architect's testimony and the applicant's testimony, Mr. de Blasio, and we would certainly accept the finalization of the easements and the recording as a condition of any approval. The fortunate thing is, Commissioner, as you heard, there's a great working relationship with these two neighbors, and they already are actively engaged in that sharing of space in terms of the initial progress in cleaning up the site, and also and the neighbors who, again, who are, in one case, NJCD, really a working partner here. We will have no problems meeting that condition.
Chair.
Commissioner Brooks? Commissioner Brooks, any other questions?
Yes. How long does the easement usually take? Usually, I mean, I know the easement you apply, but how long is that gonna take? I mean, if they make a condition, then what happens?
Right, we expect that it would be a condition, of course, and we fully understand Mr. Deutsch's requirement in that regard. I can't speak to the exact time frame, but again, I anticipate that it'll be shorter rather than later. It's going to be a process. We expect, I mean, if Mr. Deutsch or council wants to put an outside timetable on it, it's okay, but we know that we cannot move forward with the project without the easements being memorialized and recorded.
And I'll just jump in, this is Michael de Blasio again, Commissioner Brooks. So those easements are drawn up by our general counsel, and then they just need to be executed by all parties.
They've already been negotiated, in other words, it's just a formality.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Brooks, okay, I did hear Commissioner Ceballos had a question?
Yes,
Yes, please go ahead.
Council, about the second planning board, were you review what the second planning board because the street is through the street, or you plan to go there next?
That would be our next step.
All right, thank you.
Commissioners, any other questions? Did I hear somebody? No. I didn't hear. The Commissioners, Santana, Commissioner Figueroa, did I hear one of you?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, Commissioner Figueroa, any questions? Okay, Commissioner Kalik?
Are you guys a nonprofit?
Yes, we are.
Thank you.
Okay, so, all right, those are the questions that I'm gonna ask, you have no other, witnesses? Mr. Mariconda?
That does conclude our testimony, yes.
Okay, do you wanna summarize, please?
Madam Chairwoman,
Madam Chair,
Who's
Madam Chair,
calling
Mr.
me?
Maricondo summarize this?
Wait, first of all, Mr. Aquaviva, I was asked, by IT to ask you to speak up. There's still a problem with your microphone.
Okay.
So go ahead, and then I did hear someone else, but go ahead.
yes, I just want to confirm that there are no callers.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Aquaviva, go ahead, speak up louder because they're having a problem.
Okay, I just wanted to actually just address the easement issue because there's really one of two ways that can be handled. The easement, as Mr. Maricondo had stated, is a working easement, while the construction is going on. Essentially, once the easement is recorded, the applicant can apply for a cancellation of that easement when it's no longer needed, or when a final certificate of occupancy is actually either one of those ways from the time construction commences until the time that the easement is no longer needed or the construction is completed.
Okay, and, well, first of all, let Mr. Maricondo, please summarize for me, please.
Sure. Again, we appreciate your time here this evening. We feel, based upon all the expert testimony and the applicant's testimony, of course, Mr. Deutsch's thorough report, that we've been able to give the board a very complete picture of this very exciting, we think, and important part of the downtown historic district and Great Falls district development. This is a key piece, quality housing, substantial parking, and this is a big turnaround, we believe, for the area in all respects. We ask the board's consideration for approval. Thank you.
Okay, now, Mr. Acquaviva, thank you, Mr. Maricondo. Mr. Acquaviva, should a motion to approve be put on the table here, then, do we need to put on the record, it's already been said that we're looking for cameras, we're looking for the benches, we're looking for, interior and exterior cameras based on what the historic.
Right, well, I actually have 4 conditions, I'll just.
Okay, please, yeah, speak a little bit louder so we can hear you.
I said we essentially have 4 conditions. I'll start with the Historic Preservation Committee conditions, and basically they're contained in the February 9, 2021 letter, which would be incorporated by reference into the resolution if the application is approved. The second condition that I heard, we already addressed it. It's the easement from the adjacent property to the south for the work to be performed on the southern side of the building. The third, as you had indicated, Madam Chair, would be for security, lighting, and cameras on the exterior of the building, subject to the HPC, Historic Preservation Committee approval. And lastly, that there would be there would be benches designed that would fit within, that would be fitting within the historic design and character of the building to be installed in the open space area located in the rear of the property. So those were the 4 conditions that I heard.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, if I could, I believe that easement needs to continue, not just for construction.
Yes, I was going to point that out, but the easement specifically on the NJCD side of the building is an entrance and egress driveway easement, which is of a continuing nature, referring to paragraph 10 of Mr. Deutsch's report. So we need both.
Right.
That's what I thought.
Egress, but the other one that would be temporary in nature for construction on the southern side of the building.
The one on this other side of the building needs to be permanent as well, because I believe it's necessary for light and air for the windows.
Okay, so if that's the case, Mr. Deutsch, are you in agreement with that?
We believe they would be permanent, yes, from the applicant's point of view.
Yes, we've always been under that impression, yes.
Okay.
And one other thing, shouldn't we be putting something in there about the, parking authority also?
Yes, the agreement, Dave, that I referred to earlier, that letter is part of the public record, it's part of Mr. Deutsch's file. And again, I would refer to the date as being May 6th of this year.
As noted, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right, would, anyone like to make a motion on this application? Anyone?
Madam Chair,
Who is that? Commissioner Ceballos?
yes.
Yes. Would you like to make it?
Yes. And the application of the Community Asset Preservation Corporation, 108 Church Street, New Brunswick, New Jersey, 08901. Property located at 11 Spruce Street, also known as 50 Spruce Street, Block 4802, Block 20. I move that the board attorney prepare a resolution granting site plan approval ballpark.
And Chairwoman Norfolk.
Yes.
This application is approved by a 6-0 vote.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thank you, have a great night.
Thank you, you do the same.
Thank you.
Now, I believe, commissioners, we have one, I think we have one, resolution, Mr. Pavita.
Yes, Madam Chair. I'm just gonna get in front of me, give me 1 second. Okay, on the application of the City of Paterson for the property located at 76 McBride Avenue and 78-108 McBride Avenue, Block 4601, Lots 1 and 2. The property being located in the Great Falls Historic District. The applicant was seeking major subdivision approval, site plan approval on bulk variances to subdivide the existing municipal owned property that includes Block 4601, Lots 1 and 2, to create easements as indicated on the plans submitted. The board considered and approved this application at its April 21, 2021 meeting. Do I have a motion?
I was there, I believe, so I'll make the motion. Do I have a second? Who else can, who else was there?
Hold on, Madam Chair, let me get the, let's see. On the let's go with the major subdivision first. Commissioner Brooks? Commissioner Brooks?
Yes. What?
Commissioner Santana?
Yes.
And Chairwoman Northrup?
Yes, I made the motion. I don't know who seconded it.
Okay, give me.
I made the motion, but I don't know who seconded it.
Let's redo that vote. This would be on the major subdivision. Okay, do I have a motion on the major subdivision for the application?
Okay, I made the motion, Commissioner Santana seconded it.
Okay.
So, okay, then roll call, please.
Roll call, Commissioner Brooks?
Yes.
Commissioner Santana?
Yes.
Chairwoman Norfolk?
Yes.
Okay, can I have a motion on the site plan and both variances?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
Second?
Second by Commissioner Santana. Roll call.
Thank you. Commissioner Brooks?
Yes.
Commissioner Santana?
Yes.
Chairwoman Norfolk?
Yes.
Okay, that's all the resolutions for this evening, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. So, that being said, I believe, Mr. Deutsch, we have another meeting on when, the 17th?
Yes, that'll be a regular, we're moving it from the 19th to the 17th.
That's a regular meeting, and then that's it for the month?
That's it for the month.
Okay, so then I guess I wish everyone a good evening, and we'll see everybody on the 17th, and thank you and have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Appreciate it.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.